I found Christian Science, I was about 30 years old, and I searched along many, many paths. I felt, I guess now I look back and I know it was a tremendous spiritual hunger. I knew there must be answers to all life's perplexing questions and challenges, but I had never found satisfactory answers. I sort of believed there was a God, but I needed to know more. And I used to pass a reading room, and I would just stop and look in the window and read some of the citations they would have outlined, and the beautiful, beautiful thoughts. So one day I got the courage to walk in, and I picked up different articles and read them, and I was so struck by the comfort and warmth and kind of just sense of uplift that I felt immediately. It was very quiet, but it felt secure and good. I had known of practitioners. I'd heard of practitioners. I had a great-grandmother who was an early practitioner in Nebraska. So I did know they existed. And I asked, one day I said, I think I'd like to talk to a practitioner. And the clerk of this reading room said, well, I can't give you a specific practitioner, but I'll give you 3 names, and you pray about it. And I called the one who was nearest me and made an appointment and knocked on the door, and she opened the door. She was a very simple, sweet, nice lady, and we went back in her den and we talked, and I was facing a lot of challenges at that time. She taught me how to read the lesson. We study a lesson all week, and then it's read in church on Sunday. That's another thing I love about science, is that the Bible says something about God makes us all kings and priests unto God, or something like that. And we each are led to our own relationship with God. We don't need intermediaries. We have our own very vital relationship. So I learned how to read the lesson, and then she took me to the door. Excuse me. And as I left, I stepped over her threshold, and the world was different. All I can say is I felt as though I were stepping into a brilliant light. And I just felt this tremendous love, strength, good, and I've never varied from that path since. I've had many, many healings of severe food poisoning while I was in South America, results of a tremendous fall that I had taken, healings of lack, finding a home, healings of direction. One healing that stands out, before I found science, I used to have very, very severe hay fever. And it was a seasonal thing, and to get through every spring, I would end up getting cortisone shots to make it through the season. And I remember it would change the physiology of my face from this cortisone. It was very severe. Well, after science, I was healed of that. But one time I was working in New York, and the hay fever tried to come back with a vengeance. And I was trying to put everything I knew into action in my thinking that day, but I was also at work and had a lot of work to do. So at one point I called a practitioner for help, and it was toward the end of the day, and I was suffering strongly. And I left my job, and I was walking home up Lexington Avenue in New York, and all of a sudden, all I can describe this is a feeling I had as though it was just pulled out of me. It was like in this arms of love, but this sense of discomfort was just pulled out. And I was free, and I remained free. So words I can't find them to express my deep, deep gratitude for all that science has to offer for all of us, and the joy with which I can greet each new day, with knowing that I live and move and have my being in this wonderful divine life.